Hello, fourth graders. We are going to begin our work in our Into Math worksheet page or workbook pages together today with this first lesson. And we're going to start right with Module 1, and it's the place value of whole numbers. And before I jump into this workbook page, today we're just going to do pages 3 and 4. I wanted to share with you a place value chart because I don't believe you did a lot with place value in third grade, but I do know second grade there was a lot with place value. And I wanted to remind you about where numbers fall in our place value chart. So we always start in our ones place, right? That would be the digit to the right when we're writing our number all the way to the right. Then next to the ones place is our tens. Next to that is our hundreds. Then our thousands. And I think that's as far as you've gone in previous school years. And now we're going to be jumping into our 10,000s, our 100,000s. Oops, it's getting a little, there we go. It's wanting to try to focus and it's not focusing very well. And then after our, wow, that's really bad. Sorry about that, guys. There we go. And then after our 100,000, oh my goodness, it's still doing that. Okay, after our 100,000s, then we have our millions place. So and that's as far as we will go in fourth grade. So I just wanted to just jog your memory with that before we jumped right into the math lesson. Is where our digits fall with our numbers on our place value chart. We'll probably revisit that numerous times this school year. So we're going to start with just getting our brains ready and getting ourselves focused and on task for our math lesson. So we're going to start with rounding. So how should I round? The 8 numbers shown below were accidentally erased from this table. So we have to figure out where these numbers belong on our table. Write each number in the table to correctly show rounding. Use each number only one time. So these numbers are only going to go in this column right here where it says original number, and we have to use the rounded number to help us figure out where these numbers fall. So we're going to start right up here with our 860. And we notice that in our table, this column are numbers that are rounded to the nearest 10, and this column are numbers that are rounded to the nearest 100. And we have to figure out which one of our original numbers falls with our rounded number. So if I'm looking at 860, I can see that rounded to the nearest 10, whatever digit was in the tens place looked at my ones place, right, and told me to either go up to a 6 or stay at a 6. So if we look at all of our numbers, we know we can discount all of our 700 numbers, right? It's not going to be one of our 700 numbers because it's an 860. So now we're going to go to our numbers that have an 8 in the hundreds place. 831, that doesn't sound right, does it? Because we want to be at 860. 843, that doesn't sound right either. 858 and 866. Now these two have promise. So if I look at 858 and I know I'm rounding to the nearest 10, I have a 5 in the tens place. Now I always look next door to my ones place, right, to help me with the tens place. When I look next door at my 8, I know that if I have a 5, a 6, a 7, an 8, or a 9 in the lower place value, that's going to give this digit a shove, right? That's going to make the number in the place value we want to round to go up. So this is always going to give a shove. We're going to go up. If I have a 4, 3, 2, 1, or 0, I know this I have to stay, right? That digit needs to stay. So when I look at my 8 is in this go up group. This is my give it a shove group. So my 8 tells my 5 to give it a shove. Now if I look at my 866, I know I have a 6 in the tens place. But my 6 in the ones place is in this go up, give it a shove, right? So my 6 in the ones place would tell this 6 to go up to a 7. So would this be rounded to 860 to the nearest 10? No. So here is our first answer, would be 858. Now I'm going to go to the next one. I need to round to the nearest 100, and I'm rounding to the 900s. So I've already used this number, so I'm going to cross this number out because I'm done with it. So now again, if I look, would I use a 7? If a 7 was rounded, is it close to the 900? No, we're not going to use that. We would use either a 7 or an 8 in the hundreds place. So I need to look at my 800s again. So what digit would I need in my ones place, in my tens place to help shove my 8 to my 9? I would need a 5, a 6, a 7, an 8, or a 9. This has a 3. Nope, it wouldn't shove that 8 up to a 9. Here we have a 4 in the tens place. Nope, would not shove that 8 up to a 9. But I've got a 6 here. A 6 in the tens place, right? There it is. 6 go up. That's going to shove my 8 to become a 9. So I'm going to write 866 here. Now remember, this said use each number only one time. So I'm going to cross this one out. We've used that one. Now, either one of these could have been put here, right? But this one was the best one for this answer. So that's why we needed 858 in this one and 868 for this row. All right, so now 730. Oh, now we can use our 700 numbers. Rounded to the nearest 10, we want to get to 730. So I notice I have a 2 in this tens place, and I have a 3 in this tens place. Then I have a 5 and a 6. So I know we're not even going to look at our 5 and our 6, and we're not going to look at our 800 numbers because it has to be a 700. So 730. When I look at this number, I know that my 2 is in my tens place. I look next door, and this 9 says, hey, 2, I've got to shove you up, right? Because my 9 is in the shove it up group. So this would become 730. I just want to look at this one just to be safe. My 3 in the tens place for this one looks next door. Does the 7 tell this to shove up or stay the same? It tells my 3 to shove up. So this will be 740, rounded to the nearest 10. So I know that this one must be 729. So I'm going to cross that one out because I've used that one. So now I'm down to those numbers. Now I want to know which one of these numbers is rounded to 700 when rounding to the nearest hundreds place. Now, yes, this one, right? 729, my 2 would tell my 7 to stay, but remember, we're only using each number one time. So 729 best goes with 730. So for 700, if I look next door, here's a 3. Does my 3 say to shove up or stay? My 3 tells my 7 to stay the same. Does my 5 tell my 7 to go up or stay? My 5 shoves that 7 up to an 8. So we know it can't be this. And look, we're getting bigger, so we know it can't be any of those. So it must be 737. Because my 3 told my 7 to stay the same. So it would become 700 because all the rest is closer to 700 than 800. All right, 770. So I'm still going to stay with my 700 numbers. I don't need to use my 800 numbers. 770. Well, if I have a 5 in the tens place, if I were to shove up, it would have to go to 60, right? So that one we can't use, and it doesn't shove up anyway, but that one we wouldn't use. So it must be this one, but let's just double check. So I have a 6 in my tens place. I look next door at my ones place. My 8 tells my 6 to go up. It gives it a shove. And then all the number in the ones place will become a 0. So this one must be 768. So we've used that number. So now I'm at 800. Now, when I look at both of these numbers, I can see that my 3 tells my 8, my 3 in the tens place tells my 8 in the hundreds place to stay the same. My 4 in the tens place tells my 8 in the hundreds place to stay the same. So I want to look ahead on my chart because these two both could be rounded to 800, but I need to figure out which one of these would go with the other one. So let's look. Well, we know it wouldn't be 750, and we only have one 700 left, so this one must be 752. So now I'm left with two numbers. So when I look at 840 and 800, when I look at these two numbers, if I'm rounding to the nearest tens place and I have a 4 there, I look at my 3, I look next door in my ones place. My 1 tells my 3 to stay the same. So this would be 830. So would that go here? Nope. So my 831 must go here, rounded to 800. And then 840, my 3 tells my 4 to stay the same. So this would be 843. And now I've used every number. I've filled in my whole chart with the original numbers. So we've kind of already talked about this. So what whole numbers round to 800 when rounded to the nearest 10? Well, if we want to go up to 800 when rounded to the nearest 10, you're going to have the digits that are, you're going to stay the same, right? You're going to stay at the 8. So you would need 4, 3, 2, or 1. If you're going to bump it up, then you would need 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. And then if we're looking at how would we round 755 to the nearest 10, our 5 tells our 5 to go up, so this would be 760. If we want this same number rounded to the nearest 100, my 5 tells my 7 to get bigger, so it would be 800. And comparing them both to 755, 760 is closer, right, to 755 than 800. All right, the next page we're going to do is Are You Ready? So page 4. So I'm going to read my directions before I jump right into doing my work. Are you ready? Complete these problems to review prior concepts and skills you will need for this module. So we need to write this number in 3 different ways. So we have place value blocks here. I know that each one of these tiny little blocks right here, these little cubes, stand for the number 1. So this would be my ones place. I know that each one of these long pieces, if I were to count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 there, right? There's 10 of these little cubes standing up on top of each other. So this is my tens place. So how many ones do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 ones. How many tens do I have? I have 1, 2. I have 2 tens. How much are 6 ones worth? Well, 6 ones are the number 6, right? The digit 6, because I know I only have 6 of them. My tens, though, each one of these tens is worth a group of 10, and I have 2 of them. So if I'm counting by tens, I'd have 10, 20. So 2 tens equals 20. Then when I add 20 plus 6, I get 26. Oops, sorry, that keeps focusing badly. I apologize. Okay, so now if I look at my next problem, I notice I don't have anything in my ones place, right? There's no little cubes. So that means these are all in the tens place. So in my ones, I'm going to put a 0 because I don't have any. So how many tens do I have? Well, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. So I have 8 tens. And those 8 tens are worth 80. And my 0 ones is worth 0. So 80 plus 0, I'm hoping you'll be able to figure this one out, equals 80. All right, now we need to write the value of the underlined digit. So we're looking at place value. So I know that this 6 is in my ones place, the 5 is in my tens place, and the 1 is in my hundreds place. So if I have 5 tens, I have how much? 5 tens equals 50. Number 4. My 4 is in my ones place. My 9 is in my tens place. If I have 9 tens, I have 90. Number 5. This one should be fairly simple for you. I have 1 in my ones place. I have a 0 in my tens place, and I have a 5 in my hundreds place. The underlined digit is a 0, so it doesn't matter what place value we're in. We have 0, right? 0 tens. I have a 6 in my ones place, a 4 in my tens place, and an 8 in my hundreds place. So I have 8 hundredths for the underlined digit. Now I want to regroup these hundreds as tens. So if I have 300, actually let me get, a blank sheet of paper. I'd like to show you. So this was our ones, right? Were these small little cubes. There's our ones place. Here's our tens. It's what's called a long. And our hundreds are these flats. And this is your hundreds place. These tens are each broken up, right? It's 10 of these little ones stacked up on each other. This 100 would be I didn't draw this very well, would be 10 of the tens. Would be like having 10 of these tens. So if I have 3 of these hundreds, and I know each of these hundreds is 10 tens, I would have 10, 20, 30 tens. That equals 100. Number 8. So if I have 275, and I want to know how many tens I have and how many ones I have, well, my ones would just be 5. So how many tens would I have? I would have 27 tens. Number 9. 793. I have 3 ones. How many tens do I have? 79. And finally, for number 10, I have 2 ones, because that's in my ones place. And then how many tens do I have? I have 45 tens. And finally, we need to figure out which one of these is the greatest number. We have 3 hundreds and 15 tens. We have 4 hundreds, and we have 430. So how would we show that with our place value blocks? Well, if I had 3 hundreds and 15 tens, sorry, I'm not very good at making these uniform when I'm trying to do it fast. I apologize. And then here I would have 4 hundreds. And here I would have 430. Okay, so I don't know which one I have more of. Well, I know right now, right off the bat, we know that 430 is bigger than 400, right? But when I look at this, this is deceiving. 4 300s and 15 10s. But what did we learn up here? How many of these did we need to make one of these? We need 10 10s to equal 100. So if I have 15 10s down here, I know that I could take 10 of them, and this is going to equal 100. So now, looking at this, what do we think? We have 100 here, 100 here, and 100 here, and these 10 10s equal 100. Each of these is 100. And then we have 400s here. And then these are all 10. So 400s, the number I would have is 400. And over here, I have 1, 2, 3, 400, and 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So which is the greatest number? Our 300s and 15 10s. And we know this is true because it equals 450. Right? Because when we did our picture, it equaled 450. All right, I am going to stop there because I don't want you to have this crazy long video because before we do lesson 1. So we will stop there, and the next video you can watch at a different time, and it will be with lesson 1. So just save those pages for the next video. All right, if you have any questions, please make sure to reach out to me, and I will be filming another video shortly. All right, bye.